Welcome to Staad video series by 4-Dimension Infotech. Staad is a structural analysis and design software. It is invented by the research engineers and it was bought by Bentley company. And then it is one of the most widely used structural analysis and design software product. Staad stands for Structural Analysis and Design, and this Staad mainly depending on the concept we can call it as input and output. So we have to give the input to the software, then the software will give the output. Mainly in the input we have to do the 5 main steps. Those are setup, geometry creation, general, analysis and print, and then design. So once we done with our input, software produce the output like shear force and bending moment value, reactions, and then shear force diagram and bending moment diagram and its value, deflection, design output, and then by combining all this we can produce the final output. In the setup, normally we do the file name, client name, engineer name, submission date, the information related to the particular project. And in the geometry we have to create the geometry in 2D first, and then by defining the property we convert it into 3D, and then next in the general itself we have to apply the load, and then next we have to give the loading, that is dead load, live load, that is dead load, live load, wind load, seismic load depending on the conditions. And then we do the analysis whether all the inputs are in the right way or not, or all the inputs are according to the Indian standard or not. Then once we done, we can do the design. In design we can do concrete design structures and then steel design structures. Both we can do in this Staad. Next, a structure is nothing but it may be a truss, or it may be a concrete structure, and it may be a steel truss. Normally we use these 4 words in Staad. A truss is a structure consisting of truss members which have only axial member forces and no bending moment. And a plane structure is a bound by a global XY coordinate system with loads in the same plane. And a space structure, which is a 3-dimensional frame structure with loads applied in any plane x, y, z, and is most general. Normally we use space method in the Staad. Next we get a floor. Floor is a structure. It is 2 or 3-dimensional structure having no horizontal movement of the structure. Next, I am using the word structure. It is nothing but it can be defined as an assemble of all the elements. Staad is capable of analyzing and designing the structures. That's why we call it as a Staad. Next, consisting of both the frame and then finite elements. Almost any type of structure can be analyzed by Staad. Like frame elements means we can say beam element, column element, which are connected between the 2 nodes. The next finite elements are those plate and then solid, which are connected between 3 or 4 nodes or 4 or 8 nodes. In case of Staad, we use these words like node and beam and then plate. Node become joint coordinate and it has a number of x, y and z. And the next beam become member nodes at its end. It has a number and node at its end. Next, plate become element. It has a number and node and its corner. So in the future days you may get to know what is meant by node and then beam and then plate. Next, as I told you, here you can see there is a beam, or you can call it as a truss member, so which is connected between 2 points. Okay, so but in Staad language, for that the same point we define it as a node, that is node 1 and then node 2, which are in the yellow color. And The member is in the black color connected between these two nodes. That we call it as a truss or beam. Like this way you can define the member start point and then end point. Let's start with the day 1. In the day 1 we are going to learn the commands like introduction to Staad Pro and then user interface, basic settings before going to start the project, and then how to open the new project file. Let's learn these things. Once you are ready with the Staad Pro software, you just double click over that particular version of the Staad Pro. After that you can able to see the welcome screen like this. Here you can find the heading bar, that is Staad Pro V8i. Staad Pro is nothing but structural analysis and design, and Pro means it is used by the professionals or engineers, and then version is V8i. Next you can find the same thing. Here we have the project task and then recent files, license configuration, and then help topics. If you want to start with a new project, then you just click on the new project, or else if you want to open the older project, then you can click on the open project and go to the particular location where you have saved your Staad Pro and then open it. Before that you can confirm the units and all the stuff. For that I just click on the configuration. In the working directory, you can get the location where you are going to save your project files. If you want to go ahead with this by default location, you can go ahead, or else you can just click on this browse option. You can add a particular folder, in which folder you want to save. Next, define design codes. As I already told you, you can do the design and then analysis of structure and then steel structures. In India we use for the steel, that is IS 800. Just go with the particular code, or else if you go with any other code, then you can go ahead. Concrete code, we normally use IS 456, this one. And then if you are going to design aluminium design structure, timber design structure, and for shear wall also we use IS 456. Like this, depending on what type of structure you are going to do, depending on that you have to select the type of the code. And then here you come to the global axis orientation. Normally we do the plan in the X and Z, and then whatever the third parameter, that is height parameter, we define it in Y. That's why you just keep it as a Y up, or if you are going to comfortable with the Z up, then you can change it. Next, background color, like you can change the background into white or black. As like AutoCAD, if you go with the black background, then you can click. So now I just go with the white background. Next, input output file format, no need to change in that. And then we already set the unit. Base unit is very important. So how to keep always the metric unit, to do it in meter and feet and inch. And then accept and click on apply. Now we have to click on the new project. Click on the new project. As I already told you what are the differences between the plane, floor, truss, and then space. We do the design and analysis in 3D. So that's why you click on the space option, so that we get the reactions and bending moment in all the 3 directions. And then you can give the name, that is a file name. You can say day 1, day 2, or particular name which one you want to give. And then you can select the location where you want to save your project. Next you come to the basic unit. We have in millimeter, centimeter, and feet and inch, but normally in Staad Pro we go ahead with the meter and kilonewton, because whatever the output we are getting, that should be in the meter and kilonewton, because we should go with the standard values. That standard values are in meter. In Indian standard we get all the parameters in meter and millimeter. That's why you just go ahead with the meter and kilonewton. Next, click on the next option. The file already exists, you want to overwrite it, so you can go ahead and then change the name. Next, whatever the geometry creations we are doing, we are creating by add beam method. First we have to define the node, and then once you define, then you can just add the beam. Like this way, add beam method, we can create the whole geometry. Next you click on the finish. Then you come inside the Staad software. So this is what you can see is user interface. Above that we get a menu bar. Just like other softwares, here we have the menu bar. File, edit, view, tools, like that. And then below the menu bar you can get the tools, what we call it as a toolbar. And the next here you get a 5 main step. Those are setup, geometry, general, analysis and print, and then design. So once you click on the particular option, you will get a related dialog box here. This is about the setup. You just drag it and place it where you want. And then if I click on the geometry, I get a geometry related dialog box. Like this way, when you click on the general, you will get the properties, analysis and print, and when I get a design, then you get a related dialog box according to that. This is the working space what we have. Here we can do the modeling. This is a grid, this is x-axis and then y-axis. You can customize depending on your requirement. In the next session, we learn the other commands. Thank you.